So I wanted to make a video today to talk to you about HRT. I want to talk about my journey. Now, I live in Spain, I live in Valencia, where traditionally it is harder to get HRT. So I wanted to share this for women that maybe you live in a country where it's also a little bit more difficult and it's not the norm. I know in some countries in the UK, it's much easier to get HRT than it is here. So just to say, I'm postmenopause, I'm 51. I have made another video about HRT, so please check that out. And my perimenopause started when I was about 44, and I used all natural methods to manage my perimenopause. Now I'm 2 years postmenopause, and I have felt recently that my symptoms have been too difficult for me to manage naturally, which is my personal choice. I've done a lot of research. My current symptoms are this hip pain, which can affect up to 50% of women in menopause. You can often get shoulder pain as well, which can be connected to declining estrogen levels. Low mood, and these feelings in your belly, like feelings of kind of like doom, horrible feeling, horrible feeling. And just this kind of lack of joy. And I'm someone who is kind of quite a go-getter. I kind of do a lot in my life, and that in the last 6 months has really kind of gone down, and I've really felt like I can't really be bothered. And my libido also has really kind of nosedived as well. So I just kind of have got to the point where I thought, why should I feel like this? You know, every time I wake up every morning, I've got this hip pain. I have to go through so many protocols, like, you know, to make my hip feel better. If I lie down, if I go for a massage, I'm in agony when I get up. And so for me, you know, I've decided that I'm going to go this route of HRT. Okay, so this is my story of what I have done and how I've been kind of knocked back, and how I've approached, there's a little fly in my head, how I've approached the gynecologists here. And I really hope that this does help you. And please do remember to like, to subscribe, to comment, and to reach out as well if you need some support or guidance. So in April this year, I had lots of tests, and I think this is really important. For me, this was really important. So I had a DEXA to look at my bones. I had an MRI to look at my spine to see what was going on. I also had a pap smear, a breast examination, a breast ultrasound, and a womb ultrasound to look at the thickening of my lining, which for me was important because for me HRT is a really big decision, and I wanted to know that everything was fine. I've got no family history. So after I had all these tests and got the results, I went back to see the gynecologist, a different gynecologist to the first one that I'd seen, and it was a guy. And I said, I want to have a conversation about HRT, and he's like, I don't deal with HRT. He's a gynecologist, right? I don't deal with HRT. So I was like, okay, maybe this is fate, maybe this is meant to be. I'll go away. Had physiotherapy on my back, had about 5-6 months of physio. Didn't make any difference. You know, released it a little bit, but not, you know, it hasn't really moved the needle. So he told me to go and see this private health hormone specialist to talk about HRT because it's not something he dealt with. And I thought, I've got private health, I'm not going to do that. So anyway, I've got a menopause group, a menopause meetup community here in Valencia where I live. And so I reached out to the girls on there and said, look, has anyone got a good gynae at the private hospital who they can recommend, who's given them HRT in the past? So I got a name, made another appointment with her, so I was covered with my health insurance, and got that appointment in. That was like probably about 2 months, a month later. So I started to prepare for that appointment. Now, what I did was I started to research different brands that were available here and to make a list of my symptoms. So I made a list of my symptoms, and I made a list of the severity of those symptoms. I reached out to some of the girls in my community that I knew were getting certain types of HRT here, and the most popular kind was a kind of estradiol called Lenzetto, which is like a new form of HRT. I'm going to show you it actually, and it comes in a spray form like this, and you basically, when you first get it, they didn't tell me this actually, when you first get it you have to keep the lid on, pump it 3 times, boop, 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 then open it. I didn't know that. And the instructions are in Spanish, there are millions of them. And then you put it on your arm like that, choop, and you spray, okay? So this was Lenzetto. And then I knew that I wanted a micronized progesterone because this is the best form of progesterone. And I wanted estrogen that went through my skin, transdermal, because that's the safest way to use estrogen is through the skin. So I knew that I wanted to use transdermal estrogen. And then I wanted a micronized progesterone. And the one that some of the other girls were on was one called Utrogestan. And I wanted that to be inserted vaginally because, again, I didn't really want it to go through my digestion because I take loads of supplements and I wanted to avoid that if possible. So I wanted a vaginal insertion of progesterone. And then I also wanted to try a small amount of progesterone cream. And one of the girls on the group told me about this in one of our sharings. So I reached out to her and said, just so that I've got them prepared, what do you use? What form of testosterone? She sent me a picture and she sent me the doctor that she gets it from. Okay. So I went to my doctor's, my gynae meeting with what I wanted in English, my symptoms, the tests that I'd had and the dates, which she was able to look up on her screen. I also had printouts on my phone. So I knew exactly where my estrogen was at, which is low, it was 18. And yeah, so I had everything, and then I knew exactly what I wanted, which was, you know, I know that I wanted Lenzetto, I wanted Utrogestan, and then I wanted testosterone cream to try as well to see if that could give me a bit more oomph and could give my libido a little bit of a nudge. So we started having the discussion in Spanish, and she suggested I try a pill called Tiburon, which is a pill and it does have testosterone in. Now for me, I was like, I don't like the idea of taking a pill. We had a discussion about that because she was like, I don't see why, it's still estrogen in your body, in your blood. And I said, no, all the research that I've done is that I want to try transdermal estrogen. And so then we got to talking about my symptoms and we got to talking about my hip, and she said that she wants to refer me to a rheumatoid specialist. And so I could kind of see where this was going. But all of my other symptoms, you know, my low mood, my libido, my feeling low, all of those, she said 100% I can have HRT. So I could see where she was kind of going, you know. And I said to her, look, this is what I want. I want to try the HRT for 2 to 3 months and see if it makes a difference. Because lots of women do have this pain, this like arthritis type pain, and it is to do with estrogen. So she agreed. She was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. I'll give you what you want, but you can't get testosterone in Spain because they don't make it here. So I said, well, actually, that's not true because one of my Spanish friends actually gets it, and this is her doctor, and this is the cream that she has, and it's specially formulated for her, for women, and so you can get it here. So she was like, okay, I know that doctor. Let me get in touch with her. Give me 1 week and I'll speak to her and maybe we can get you some of that testosterone as well, because she said we don't like to prescribe them together or you can't get it in Spain. But anyway, you can get it in Spain. And so I left that meeting feeling very empowered. She was a good gynecologist. Now, bearing in mind, you know, the guy that I'd said before was like, computer said, no, don't deal with it. She was really good. And my group really helped me, because if I hadn't had the name of this gynecologist, if I hadn't had some of their recommendations, if I didn't know about that testosterone cream, so it's a little fly in here today, then I don't think I would have got that result. And what I feel is that as women, we can't just go to doctors and expect them to have all the answers. We have to go into that meeting knowing what we want, doing our own research and feeling empowered. Okay? And I left that meeting feeling really good. But really, she didn't really have a choice because I'd done my research and I knew exactly what I wanted. And she could have easily pushed me down the route of seeing the rheumatoid specialist. And that's something that I might have to address if this hip pain doesn't go. But I wanted to leave that meeting with my HRT. So I've got my HRT. So I've got my Lenzetto. So I used it yesterday. First try, nothing happened. And then I went online and realised you had to pump 3 times. Then put it on. So you put it on your arm. It's really easy. You put it here. She started me on 1 pump for 2 weeks. If I don't see any changes, then I can go up to 2 pumps per week. And then if I'm not seeing changes, we can have a discussion about going up more than that. But she said, let's just see where we are with that, which is a low dose. And then, so I had a bit of a drama. My hospital appointment went really well. And then after that, I went to the chemist and I thought, like, I live near a little village and I thought they're not going to have it here. So I thought I better stay in the city and get what I need. So managed to get the Lenzetto, had to go to a different chemist to get more of the Lenzetto because I wanted it for like 3 months. I didn't want to run out of it. And then went to get the Utrogestan. First chemist, didn't have it. Second chemist, didn't have it. Third chemist, they had this, which is called CG-Gestan. CD-Gestan. So I'm there in the chemist, sweating hot, having to Google this to ensure this is the same as what I wanted, which was the Utrogestan. And I was really tired at this point, exhausted, just wanted it. And it appears that this, again, is micronized progestin. It's just a different brand name and it's made out of the same lab. And it's the same, I hope. The doctor had also got the prescription wrong. She'd put 1 milligram and it's actually 200 milligrams that I need. Again, you know, the pharmacist luckily here knew that. So this has to be inserted vaginally, which is a bit weird. I didn't get an applicator, so which was kind of a bit weird because you have to put it quite high up. And then I waited 30 minutes to have a pee. I waited an hour, but there were still little bits in my pee. So then I was like, oh, I don't know whether that came out, but apparently that's not it. That's not the medication. That's just the seal. It does say on here that you can take orally or vaginally, but my instruction was to take vaginally, so I'm taking these at night. Now, you want to take your estrogen earlier in the day. Estrogen is like a fertilizer. It can give us energy, so it's better to take that earlier in the day. One girl in my group was taking it late at night and she couldn't sleep, and then she switched, so she takes that in the morning. And then I take the progesterona in Spanish, at night. And last night I did seem to have a better sleep because progesterone is our calming hormone and it helps us sleep, and I didn't have the restless legs. I still had achy hips, but it didn't seem as bad. I don't know if that was in my head. And I felt really sleepy and had a really good sleep. So I'm happy about that. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'm going to jump on every week and share my symptoms. Often it takes, it can take, a few weeks for this to work. You can get side effects. You can get breast pain. You can get leg cramps. You can get bloating. Some people say that they put on weight. So I'm going to share every week. I'm going to jump on and pop a little video on here, and pop a little video on YouTube every week. Every Wednesday I'll upload a video so that you can see my journey. I am a menopause yoga teacher. I am a menopause coach, so I am informed. If you feel like you need some support, you want to reach out, I have a Facebook community as well, which I will link in the description. And I hope you found this useful. Please reach out with any questions, and do subscribe and comment. And thank you for watching. And I hope this video does help you.